This is chapter 58 of The Flower of Freedom, and I'm Deborah, the author of this original work, and all rights to the book and the presentation are reserved. This is chapter 58, and your chair is ready. We're going to take a good look at this gawking man. Here we go. Have a seat, be comfortable, be ready. Chapter 58. The group showed up for breakfast at 9 as agreed. The servers shared their unease about the gawking man with one another after he rushed out. So when the young people came in, the service was amazingly swift and efficient. As soon as they had chosen their meals, they went in priority order to the kitchen, and they were on the table within 15 minutes. They ate and were able to be on their way down the cable car at the end of town to meet the 10:30 train. Everyone in the restaurant smiled with relief when they were off for today. They were safe for now. Hans was sitting in the upper restaurant while the group of young people were finishing their breakfast at the main lodge. He tried to charm the ladies there, but they were mothers, and they sensed something when he started talking about the group. They noticed the similarity between the charming boy with the funny accent and the creepy man immediately. They stated that they had no idea to whom he was referring. In fact, it had been a very slow day for them, so they would remember if a group had come in. Hans sat there watching skiers and looking at anyone who entered for another hour, and then he left. He left a large tip on the table, and he took the ski lift back down. By then, the group was halfway to town on the train. When the resort staff had a meeting later that morning, the lodge manager told the staff that someone had reported that the man in the luxury suite was making people nervous, and that he seemed to be stalking a young man he claimed was his estranged son. The server told everyone the story he had told her, and someone said, "How would that work? If the kid was in another country and he had never seen him, how would he know to follow him here?" Someone else spoke up and mentioned that he seemed to be watching a little girl learning to ski on the bunny hill. The manager told them all to be vigilant. "If a kid gets abducted from this resort, the publicity will kill our business and everyone's job, not to mention that it might also kill the kid. So it's a good idea for all of us to be vigilant. We cannot say anything with only suspicions, but keep an eye out for that little girl, and no one give him any information about that young man. It would be impossible to undo any harm that someone might do, but we can certainly try to prevent the damage before it occurs." Agreed? They were all on the same page. When the friend group got to the next idyllic town, they walked down the pedestrian mall. They immediately understood why the ladies at the restaurant recommended it. The boys went to the arcade while the girls went shopping. Most of the girls went into clothing shops, but Marie and Suzette spent time in an amazing cuckoo clock shop. There was a cacophony of sound on the hour, with birds popping and miniature couples dancing. It was an unforgettable experience that delighted them both. Marie chose a clock for Bertie to take home to their parents. It was a little 2-story chalet with 3 pine cone weights and a pendulum. It had wooden shingles on the roof and a painted stone foundation with a St. Bernard dog with the requisite brandy cask around his neck and a puppy sitting next to him. Little painted lace curtains hung in the windows and there were flower boxes on the windows as well. On the hour the cuckoo called out, the figures started dancing in a circle of celebration. The song was Edelweiss, a song many Canadian children could sing by heart. It rang out to brighten the winter day. Mama would love it. On the half hour, When most of the other clocks in the shop were ticking away, one clock sang out. That helped Marie choose. On the half hour, a little water wheel on the side of the clock turned under a little shingled roof. The music box sang one song from a more recent movie. Somewhere, my love, there will be songs of spring. Marie wrote out a traveler's check that Uncle Aki insisted that she carry as soon as she heard it, and the shopkeeper boxed it up into a sturdy box when she told him that it was going to Canada. Suzette and Marie found the other girls admiring hand-made silk-screened scarves at the next shop but one. They were beautiful. The designs and the colors were outstanding, and each of the girls chose their favorite. When asked if anyone had seen the boys, someone said that if they were anything like her brothers, they were rooted to a spot exactly where they left them in half an hour earlier. When the girls were ready for a break, that's exactly where they found them. All heads turned to look at the group of pretty girls when they entered the arcade. They were not exactly their normal clientele. The girls had to coax the boys out of a pinball contest by telling them that there was a cafe a few doors down that sold dozens of types of hot chocolate. That got Michaud's attention. "You haven't lived," he said in raptures, "until you've had a real Swiss hot chocolate. Nothing compares. And the pastries." Joseph grinned and said, "We need to get this guy a girlfriend. At least he won't look so weird taking a girl to a party. But if he arrives making eyes like that at a cup of chocolate, they'll lock him up." Michaud felt misunderstood, and he refused to sit next to Joseph. Philippe was still trying to ensure that everyone remembered that he had the high score. "Good," said Joseph to Michaud over the heads of the others in a wounded tone, ignoring Philippe. "Let someone else put up with you for a few hours." And he sat down next to Nicole at the other end of the table. He shouted out an apology to Michaud a quarter of an hour later, after he got his first and then his second sip from the big round cup. With crumbs on his chin, he called to Michaud, "I take it back. Next social function, this will be my date. I have never enjoyed a better cup of chocolate. Forgive me, Michaud, when you're right, you're right." "Huh," grunted Michaud. "Maybe I do not have to change rooms tonight. I was not about to bunk in the same room as a Philistine." The entire group almost spit out their chocolate in the guffaw that followed. Philippe muttered, "I still have the high score." That's the end of this chapter. This is your friend Deb, author of The Flower of Freedom. Please come back for the next chapter. Bye.